Indie wrestling fans, I hope you're excited because guess what? Boom! It's Thursday night and it's time to party with us. We're the Video Bros. I'm Bobby Munson and the man sitting beside me, he's the man with the angelic voice. He's Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes, happy Thursday. How you doing, brother?
Whoa, Munson, it's Thursday again and time for Ring Respect Radio, and I am ready for this because we're going down under to New Zealand once again to talk about SPW, our great friends down in that superior indie wrestling company that we love to cover.
Oh, we absolutely adore it. And yes, we're going to be talking about Battlelines, as you might have seen on the poster. We've got a Battlelines Cup. We've got a Fight for Gold briefcase, and we got a championship. How did we get here? Well, guess what? We're going to have all the answers for you, so stay tuned with the show here tonight as we get there and talk about everything went down at SPW Battlelines 2026. But Bob Smokes, even long before we get that far into it, let's talk about some other indie wrestling that's very near and dear to our hearts. We're going to start with our very favorite indie wrestling company. Hello, Zach. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you being here. Ambassador, my good man. Happy Thursday, handsome gents. Back at you, brother. Hell, it feels like only 6 days since it was 6 days. We're going to talk about that in a minute, too. But before that, I want to talk about somewhere where we get to see each other quite often. Something along the lines of, well, I heard there's a storm warning coming, Papa Smokes, a storm warning, or at least one presented by Prairie Pro Wrestling, because Prairie Pro Wrestling presents storm warning on Saturday, June the 27th. The hottest goddamn ticket in town. Tickets are going fast because everybody and anybody wants to be there live and in person for Prairie Pro Wrestling storm warning. You know who else is going to want to be there aside from Basser? The Mangler's going to want to be there. I know damn well the Mangler does. And yes, that shirt of Papa Smokes is totally badass, that Motorhead shirt. Papa Smokes, that storm warning, that poster is absolute fire. How excited are you for this show coming up?
Very excited, and I saw that poster, that beautiful poster on X today, and had to retweet that to put out the word to all of our wrestling fans. It looks good. The card looks good. The action and the competitors look awesome. Oh, yeah, we got some more tickets bought today. Oh, hell yeah. The Mangler is a front row fan for sure. But I'm excited for this June 27th, an awesome time of year for a wrestling show. And we're going to see, you tell me that ticket sales are already pretty brisk, and I think they're going to really pick up over the next bit. We're going to have another packed house at the Cosmos Center just off Broadway, and we'll have all the action for all the fans, no doubt about it. So what do you know about this card, Munson? Do we have our heavyweight champion going to be in the house for this card?
Heavyweight champion is on the poster there, Papa Smokes. I know that for sure. So hopefully he will be in the house. I don't know what the plan is for him, but I'm expecting that we're going to have some big numbers. People are a little hesitant. This is one of those shows, and we see it as well, too, right around Christmas time. The December show does the same thing. At first, people are a little bit like, pump the brakes. Can I go? Do I have a party I need to attend? Or in this case, do I have a summer weekend with the family out at the lake I need to attend? Summer concerts, summer festivals, summer this, summer that. They're not too sure. But then in the back of their minds, there's always that little bit of a voice telling them, who the fuck cares about all those other things when you can go to Prairie Pro Wrestling, goddammit? And that's what they end up doing. So over the next 2 weeks, you're right. Those tickets are going to sell right out. I expect them to, just like they do out in, other places, like, say, Winnipeg Pro Wrestling, who we know sells out all the time. Yeah. And I'm sure our good friend Blair from the Grain Waker podcast could tell you all about it. It's going to be a sellout. Yes, Blair, absolutely. We hope that it is. And we wish great success as well, too, to Winnipeg Pro Wrestling, as always. Love all of you guys out there as well, too. Support Prairie Wrestling in general. It's in our name, but it's across the provinces here in Canada, Pop Spokes. It means a lot to us.
Oh, man, since watching the last few cards from PPW, particularly the fight at the museum, just very impressed with this company. Just love to cover their stuff, love to watch it as a fan, and they're doing great stuff out there in Winnipeg. I also love the way they always give a favorable nod to the past wrestling of Winnipeg, in particular the AWA that I went to as a kid. Just love to see that. I'd love to see what they're carrying on, the great tradition of blue-collar Winnipeg wrestling. Just absolutely love it.
Yeah, you bet. And Blair, you know what? If you are going to make it out for a Prairie Pro show, you contact me directly, brother. We will put you up. A couple of seats right in the front row seats there will be on us. So just let me know if you're going to make that trip out here. Yeah. That's the least we can do for you. And if you like to have a drink or two after a show, well, I don't think Pop Smokes and I would be so opposed to, making it happen. I know I usually don't go drinking after the show because I'm usually tired AF, but if you're making the trip out from Winnipeg to Saskatoon, I make an exception.
And we know of a couple of places that can host us after wrestling months, and we've had good luck in the Broadway area. We know of a couple places that have an interest in wrestling, shall I say, and some wild shit goes down. Oh, hell yeah, Blair. Let's do it up. Yeah. That'd be great. We'll return the favor. We'll come out there and go to one of those shows at the one of those outdoor shows at the Blue Note. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's the aim anyway. We'd love to come out there this summer for one of those shows for sure. But yeah, speaking of shows, Pop Smokes, before we even get into SPW, man, we went to a show on Friday. Bass talked about it. We went out there, myself, my wife, you and your lady, as well as Basser was out there with buddies from work. A fairly packed house, I gotta say, for BEW doing their first Saskatoon show. Kind of coming in on our territory a little bit, but whatever. You and I don't get to go and enjoy watching the pro wrestling usually because we're working. So it was nice to go out with a crew of people that we know and like hanging out with and go check this wrestling out. And there were some great people on this card as well, too. People that we've talked about from some of the various companies that we cover, including, the Vandal Chantel and the Giant Orion and some familiar faces like Bobby Sharp and Kat Von Hees that we've seen before, or Riley Rose, who worked a match at PPW as well, too. And then, of course, some people I've seen maybe because I've been to a couple of previous BEW shows out when they've been in Warman. But aside from that, there was a couple of new faces as well, too, because they had a few different ladies matches on there. And so there was a different mix of different wrestlers that, we weren't necessarily accustomed to. I had a good time. I think it's atrocious paying $10 for a beer, but I still paid $10 for beers and had a good time.
Yeah, I got to mirror that sentiment as well. And it, like you said, it's fun for us to go out as fans and not have any responsibilities for anything going on at the show. No camera work, none of that stuff, not having to be at ringside, which I enjoy, of course, at our shows. But it's fun to be a fan and just watch. And you know what? I wanted to bring up something about this show is that I've always find it interesting going to other wrestling shows in Saskatoon because they have a whole different crowd than ours. Hey, did you notice that there's
Yep.
I always think that there's kind of a set wrestling crowd in most cities, especially a smaller city like Saskatoon, that there's kind of a bunch of wrestling fans and they go to the various shows that come here. But we didn't see any PPW fans aside from our party, of course, which was a number of people. But
I saw two others.
Okay. Well, very few then, and it's just interesting to me. This was a completely different crowd. This was like a West Side wrestling crowd. They were all different people. They were all into it. It was fun, Munson. I liked this atmosphere a whole bunch. They had a ton of merch. The fans were buying merch. And the other thing I thought was interesting about this crowd was the diversity of it, the age diversity. We saw sitting ahead of us, there was a grandpa, a dad, two sons and their friends, like just generations of people. There were lots of kids. There were lots of old people, and then lots of adults. There were some, college-age kids that came out and they were buying the luchador masks and right into it. And it was a good
kicked out after two matches.
Yeah, that was another thing. We got to see a drunk guy fall off his chair and barf everywhere. That was awesome. That reminds me of some wrestling shows I've been to in the past. Just had a good time with this. It was fun to experience a different kind of indie show than we're used to. And damn it, I had a good time at this. They featured the ladies quite prominently on this card. Was there 3 or even 4 ladies matches out of the 6 or 7 matches?
3, yeah. Yeah, I think it was 6 matches total. 3 of them were ladies matches, so 50. It was like 50-50.
Yeah. and we knew some of the talent, and some of it I'd seen before. Moses, Luke, and Thrillin' Dylan, we know
Yep.
he's a long time legend in Saskatchewan wrestling as well. Haven't seen him in the ring for a long time. Very good feelings all around, and had a good time with this. And the Travel Lodge was a very different venue than I'm used to seeing too. And
Yep.
wow, it was cool. I had a good time at this. Would go again, but of course, Munson, as you know, I'm holding out for the Carnival of Chaos to come to town. I'm not going to another of their shows until they bring the insane clowns in, and that's the bottom line right there. They bring the clowns in, I'm there.
All right, Papa Smokes has put it down. If anyone from BEW is watching at any point in time, if you want Papa Smokes back in the house, you got to bring the clowns. So if the clowns are there, Papa Smokes joins. And you know, if the clowns are there, I'm going just to experience what Papa Smokes is experiencing, because I got to see the reaction that Papa Smokes gets out of this carnival of chaos, as they're called. Basser and I have firsthand seen the carnival of chaos, minus bonkers, of course, but
Yeah,
the other two we have definitely seen.
it's bonkers that I really want to see. Like I think they were mediocre with the other two, but with the addition of Bonkers, that's where the magic comes in. I think Bonkers and his big hammer, just got to see that going out. He's going to be bonking people all over the place.
Maybe he'll give Papa Smokes a good old bonking on the noggin there too while he's out.
I could only hope so.
Bring it on, bring it on. There you have it, BEW. Thank you for a good night out. We had fun. Of course, as I said, PBW, reach out to us if you want to buy your tickets to the best wrestling in Saskatoon. That's coming up on Saturday, June the 27th. But what also you can check out for wrestling, you can check out lots of great wrestling online. We do it for Prairie Pro. Blair and his team do that for Winnipeg Pro. You know who else does it, Papa Smokes? Our good friends at Southern Pro Wrestling, SPW New Zealand, who kind of one of the earlier companies that we adopted doing reviews for here on the channel. And I know, of course, with time differences, a lot of them, struggle to get in here on the live chat, which is cool, but we know they're going to be watching on repeat. So first and foremost, before we even start talking about this show, hey, thank you to all our friends out in New Zealand who always support us and make this our fun time and do these great shows. We appreciate you all, and thank you for watching. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. The Battlelines Cup, Papa Smokes, 3 matches that are going to take place. And those 3 matches, the winners of them will go on to a triple threat match to decide who is going to be the winner of the Battlelines Cup. Now, for those who don't know what the Battlelines Cup is, it is a cup tournament that SPW holds. The winner of it, therefore, is guaranteed a shot at the SPW New Zealand champion at their Southern Rumble, which is one of the bigger shows for them for the year. Now, this also became very interesting with this show and something I haven't seen them do before, and I want to talk heavily about that as well, too. But to get there, we got to talk about the matches that got us there, Papa Smokes, first and foremost. And hello to Ed joining us in the house. Just got done with Marvel Talk, wrapping up the Daredevil season finale. So if you haven't checked out the Marvel Talk review yet, wait till this show's over and go on back over to YouTube where you're going to be able to find that for your replay pleasures. But yeah, Papa Smokes, we got a lot of matchups to talk about. Let's get right into it. Because this venue has been done before, not one that we need to really do the lay of the land. I think we've given the lay of the land a bit on this one before. So
yeah, this one is in Invercargill again. I've talked about this city. It sounds like such an interesting and fascinating city, home of those famous oysters that you can get at a number of restaurants there. So curious, wish I could try those fresh in one of the restaurants there. But yes, this show was Saturday, April 18th, 2026, held at the Corinthian Center in the Invercargill Working Men's Club in Invercargill, New Zealand. Capacity up to 1,000 people.
Yeah, perfect. So we're going to open this thing up with one of the first round matchups in the SPW Battlelines Cup tournament. So we start this one off with Toothless Nico Bell in singles action against K9. What an interesting way to start this night off. Was very much looking forward to it once they brought the competitors out. And this was a very strong opening match. Man, is Nico Bell great as a heel. We've seen him work singles over in IPW New Zealand. He works mostly tag team that we've seen here in SPW, and he works heel. He works babyface over there as well too. So it's like we haven't seen this side of Nico Bell in one-on-one action before, and I liked it. The cynical part of me really liked watching Nico Bell, the singles heel, in this matchup. He is a shit talker with the best of them, gets that crowd right kinds of riled up throughout this thing, but he backs it up with some good wrestling. He gets some good shine in this match, really working with K9, making K9 work for it. Of course, you got over in the corner of K9 now, you've got the People's Palmer, as he likes to be called. He's got all the people in the crowd now with "I'm a K9 guy now" signs being flashed up. So that's seemingly getting over. At one point, Palmer tries to get involved. He jumps up on the apron and asks K9 to tag him in. I was a little puzzled by this, but it turns out to be a kind of a nice little distraction in a sense without interfering with the actual matchup, because it takes Nico Bell's focus away from K9 and onto I want to call him Professor Palmer, onto People's Palmer at that point in time. But yeah, and then after that, K9 manages to get back into this match. He gets really dominant throughout this thing, really starts to shine as the clearly very experienced top guy wrestler that he is, and he ends up getting the pinfall victory. This was hands down, even looking back on it, is one of the best matches of the entire night. And for great reasons, because K9 is pretty much in that conversation every time he's in a match in SPW. And that was no different here. But I also got to give kudos to Toothless Nico Bell, who I thought was one of the standouts of the night, getting to see him as a singles heel wrestler this time around.
For sure. And from the first times we started watching SPW to cover it on this podcast, from the very first show I watched, K9 was a huge standout for me. The guy looks like a wrestler, is built to be a wrestler, acts, sleeps, dreams, everything wrestling, obviously. And you couldn't blame any of his opponents for being intimidated and coming to the ring with him. He's pounding the chest. He's got the whole crowd barking like dogs viciously. But Nico Bell doesn't take any shit from anybody. He's a hockey goon. He's got his front tooth knocked out. He comes to the ring with a stick and a hockey jersey. Wild gimmick for New Zealand, as we've said before, but I love this, especially being a Canadian. I love this. So Nico Bell steps in, not afraid of K9 at all. So, oh shit, right off the bat, we're going to have a bit of a brawl here. But right off the bat, in this first match, they don't brawl. They wrestle for a while. This was surprising to me, especially from either guy, but especially the two of them. Some pretty nifty technical wrestling from K9. Couldn't believe that. Little arm bar, switching that around. Now there's a standing arm twist and a little somersault to get out of it. All that nice wrestling stuff you like to see at the beginning of a match. Just unexpected from these two, but I love to see it. Bell coming along nicely as a wrestler as well. Takes his time, not in a big hurry. We've seen him look a little bit more nervous in the past and having those happy feet, as we call them, just moving a little too fast and a little too nervous. Not seeing that from Nico Bell these days. He's looking confident, looking good, slows the match to the heel's pace and starts working that heel style. Closed fist punches, choking on the ropes, stomping when his opponent's down, having the referee have to interfere frequently in this match. This is good heel ring work. But as good of a heel as Nico Bell is, K9 can work both of those styles. We've seen him as a heel, but mostly as a babyface. He's a Stone Cold Steve Austin type of a babyface. He works the same style, only it's on, depending on his opponent. The crowds will cheer him, and they love to cheer K9 because he's an ass kicker extreme. So yes, as you said, Palmer makes his presence known in the match, tries to do the tag in. This seems to be his spot right now. K9 unenthusiastic about this whole spot, doesn't tag him in, but Palmer's presence on the ring apron is enough to distract Bell. K9 hits his finisher, that double underhook J Driller style pile driver, gets the 1, 2, 3. The guys get in and out of this preliminary tournament match in 8 minutes. Perfect. Don't tire yourselves out, boys. You're both going to be seeing more action throughout this night, especially K9, who advances in the SPW Battlelines tournament. We're going to see how he fares later on. But for now, K9 with a big win in a hard-hitting and exciting opening match that's got our card off to a running start.
Yeah, it was a fantastic opener. Like I said, one of my favorites of the night. Really, really good way to start. Well done, gentlemen. Next up, our next match in the first round of the SPW Battlelines Cup here. Oh, before we go there, though, it's hello to Astrid. Hey, Astrid. Thank you for being here with us on Ring Respect Radio. Next match we have up here, Papa Smokes. James Shaw comes walking out, the divine light, our good buddy James Shaw. I've seen on here on Ring Respect Radio now, I believe three times he's been a guest here. So James Shaw comes on out for his matchup, and he's going up against Chalky Murdoch. And I'm like, okay. We haven't seen Chalky in singles action before, and here's James. We're supposed to hate James. I know, boo, he's so evil, he's so bad. And man, he is so good at being bad. He really is good at being bad. Chalky, obviously very loved by the audience. They really enjoyed him here. I thought this was the most outstanding I've seen Chalky work since we've started doing these reviews. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It just, some of the other stuff I think that he's been doing in the tag team, the matches were never the standout matchup of the night. So I tend to not remember as much. I'll remember this a little bit more though, Pop Smokes. I think that Chalky put on a great display here. And maybe that's because he's working with James, and James seems to be able to work and get the best out of anybody that he's working with at the same time, because both these guys put on a hell of a follow-up match, especially to follow such a good opener in K9 and Toothless Nico Bell to go into this second matchup here. They did a great job. So yeah, but I thought Shaw's perfect. Like the funniest standout piece was Shaw pretending that he was getting tripped up by Chalky's tag team partner, Adam Avalanche, on the outside. And they would even go, like, David Dunn calls for the replay of the video at one point and shows it from another angle. And all of a sudden you just see James about 2 feet away from the hands of Adam Avalanche on the outside. And he does this whole trip up segment and everything, ends up getting his ass kicked out. It was typical James at his best. Chalky was doing his stuff and once they kicked out Adam Avalanche, oh, here we go. James is going to cheat to pick up a victory, but no, Chalky gets the better of him, hits a choke slam and gets the pinfall over James. I'm starting to see a trend here where obviously James is good at working. He can continue to draw the heat and get right back into the main picture at any given time. They're telling the story about how he feels like he never got his opportunity properly at the SPW Championship and how it's the only title in all of New Zealand that has really eluded this decorated wrestler. I feel like they're having the fall of James Shaw right now before the rise of James. That's the vision I'm seeing for it, is he's going to go on this run where guys are going to go over him for a little bit. They get the better of him until he snaps, and he truly snaps. And something's going to come about, or he's going to get a new congregation behind him or something. And you watch, he will eventually end up getting to the top, and he will get that SPW title. It probably won't be this year, but I can picture it next year coming in the way of James Shaw.
I think that's probably a pretty spot-on prediction of that too. And we've been used to seeing James Shaw in the Divine Light faction at the top of SPW's cards all the time. James has always had a strong faction behind him, but we've seen the Divine Light fracture over the past year or so with Ryder turning on James after much abuse by James Shaw. Of course, the Ryder turning on him. His various other followers have turned on him, so it really is just James Shaw on his own. So I think that probably is logical in booking to have him give back to the company for a while, do some jobs, do some ridiculous spots and a few other things. We saw him imitating the Hooligan last show, and we'll talk more about that from this show as well. But Shaw, just so very, very talented in so many ways. Not only is his ring work awesome, but he's a great promo. He's got a great mind for the business. He's very creative. He's very funny as well. And this was the perfect opportunity to raise the stakes of a guy like Chalky, who we've seen in the Southern Alps team before, do some good stuff, do some all right stuff, but never really turn the heads of the fans all that much. But Chalky's big, he's experienced, he's got a lot of strength and a lot of size. So there's something they can do with this guy. And with Chalky picking up the win in this match, it's clear that they mean to elevate him a little bit. Not sure if the Avalanche is out for a bit or if they've shelved the tag team plans for the Southern Alps, but at any rate, Chalky having a good match here. They didn't make it long. They got in and out in 6 minutes. And James Shaw doing the job. A rare top rope move attempt, which was unsuccessful, and then taking the big choke slam from the large man. James Shaw giving up size and strength in this match just wasn't his night. Takes the pinfall. He's eliminated from this tournament cup. So Chalky moves on, and they, like I say, didn't have to do a whole lot in this match. 6 minutes and we're done. So we move on to the next round of this tournament.
We certainly do. Next round of that tournament, we get Ryder, the Golden Boy himself, taking on the other half of Nico Bell's tag team, King and Crosscheck. Mr. King himself, Michael Richards, in this one. I think we've reviewed at least one, maybe two Michael Richards singles matches prior to seeing his team up with Nico Bell. So we have seen him before. He is a seasoned veteran. We know that he can work in there. And so is Ryder. Ryder's got a been a very seasoned veteran for them as well too. One thing I will say, and I hate to pick at things, but the Ryder gimmick, it's kind of got a shelf life coming up, Papa Smokes. Like, I was finding even myself not as excited about it as I was when he was going after James Shaw, kind of thing. Like, it worked in that context, but here I was less on board with Ryder this time around than I was when he's working with James. And I don't mean that as a criticism towards Ryder. He's a great in-ring worker, but the dancing Golden Boy gimmick a little bit is gotten away from me. Just like Pop Smokes has gotten away from me. I talk about it and then he disappears. It goes into the background, goes away, leaves me here all on my lonesome to talk to all of you about what went on. Oh, look at this. Papa Smokes has returned back to the fold. See, I start making one little criticism, Papa Smokes, and you run for the hills.
No, it was somewhat on point, I think. Like, I agree with you about Ryder. When we saw him, did he win the Southern Rumble last year? Was that the big event that he was victorious in?
And then he had a great match against Cool Guy Sky to follow it up.
Yeah, that's right, too. Because he had a whole ton of momentum. They did that build-up so good when Ryder was in the Divine Light faction with James Shaw, because they built it for a long time. Shaw was the spiritual leader of this group, but he's a tyrant, right? He's a mean leader. He doesn't give back to his faction. They're just there to elevate him and to protect him. So he's been abusing Ryder this whole time. Ryder was never standing up for himself, and James was verbally beating him down, denigrating him in front of the fans. And you could see Ryder, just his spirit was breaking and everything. So when he finally rose up and stood up against James Shaw, and then in that same night won the Southern Rumble, there was an electricity to it. He was an underdog, and he won, which is what is basically their Royal Rumble, one of their big shows of the year. It was unexpected to the fans. It was a surprise. So Ryder really was elevated by that win, and he does have a great energy to him. He has an enthusiasm. He has a charisma that he brings to the ring. It's kind of a pure babyface energy. But you may have a good point there that it was stronger when he had a direction, when he had an actual purpose in battling against the Divine Light and James Shaw. Now we can believe that as a babyface, he's going for the heavyweight title of SPW, but yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. There's something a little bit lacking to it. A little bit of direction is just not there for Ryder, but I still like him. I still pull for him.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm the kind of fan that likes heels better, I still like Ryder as a babyface. But and Richards is a pretty dastardly heel as well, so it should be even amplified. But this match, they also did quickly. This was a 6-minuter as well. We know that one or both of the guys are going to be in, well, really just one of them is going to be in action again later tonight. So there's no need to prolong this. Both guys are going to be going for the win early. Ryder misses a top rope splash. Richard hits his finisher. 1, 2, 3, pinfall in 6 minutes. Ryder is out. The heel Richards is in. So once again, we're now starting to get this tournament fleshed out as to who's going to be there at the end. And we got our 3 guys for the 3-way main event finishing match here. So this should be exciting. But in order to get there, we've got a few more matches in between.
We sure do. Yeah, a lot of talk about before we even get to more matches. We had a segment come up next, Bob Spokes, and here we go again. I wasn't going to be fooled twice. Fool me once. That's about as far as you're going to get, Mr. Shaw. Because this time when they said that the hooligan Marcus Cool was going to be there to address his injury situation and whether or not he'll be back soon, when we can expect him back, if at all, I was like, I'm not buying it. Nope, not having it. James Shaw is going to be wearing a bald cap, and he's coming out again as the hooligan James Shaw, and you better believe that SOB did it. And I shout out to James. He's got a great gaming channel as well, too, Divine Light Gaming. You should check it out sometime. I sometimes pop it on when I'm starting my day at work there at the beginning and talk to James for a little bit, and I've started bugging him by calling him the hooligan James Shaw. Which he's popped pretty hard for. So he comes out once again with the bald cap, imitating Marcus Cool. He's the hooligan James Shaw. And only this time, he was going to try to prove differently. He was going to prove that this is all 100% true and that James Shaw is not who's in the ring and that it was actually the hooligan Marcus Cool, because he had a video screen that he claims was live, although it's clearly pre-recorded material where he's doing a conversation with James Shaw on the screen, and what he's saying as the hooligan in the ring, saying that he wanted to give up his opportunity at the heavyweight championship that Marcus Cool had won previously by winning last year's Battlelines Cup. He wanted to give that up to James Shaw so that James Shaw could have an opportunity at the championship because he thinks James Shaw is amazing or whatever. And they set this whole thing up. It's going back and forth. And then when we can really prove that it's a pre-recorded video is when James can no longer go on cue with it, because Jacko makes his way out to the ring at this point in time, declares that he is now going to cash in his Fight for Gold briefcase into the match at the Southern Rumble, where the Battlelines Cup winner will also face the champion, so making it a guaranteed triple threat matchup. We've seen that Fight for Gold briefcase mostly used in ways of getting at the champion when they're beaten down, unable to stand under their own power anymore, taking advantage of the situation. But Jacko ain't doing that, Pop Spokes, and I gotta give credit where credit's due. I liked this call. Even though it leads to a triple threat, we're a little iffy on triple threats. I really like this call because this is what I've always said. I get tired of these briefcases being a cop-out for putting people over. In fact, if Jacko goes over in this triple threat matchup, I'm going to say that's an even stronger way to go about it, too, because he called his shot. He went toe-to-toe with not one but two motherfuckers in that ring that night to win that championship belt. I liked this a whole heck of a lot, Jacko calling this spot.
Sure. And this was all work to set up stuff for the Southern Rumble. And I think James Shaw is very funny doing this hooligan business, and you got to think I'm a fan of Marcus Cool, the hooligan, and just like me, all the fans know that Marcus Cool ain't going to take kindly to these imitations with the skinhead cap and the cleats, and Shaw's mocking Cool's catchphrases and all the rest of it, and he's mocking him pretty good, and it's quite funny, but you know that that's just going to incur the wrath of the hooligan. So, hooligan with the number one contenders shot guaranteed, Jacko with the number one contender shot guaranteed. They're just going to put them together into the same match. And now Cool Guy Sky has got a big challenge ahead of him to make it not just a two-man championship match, but a three-man championship match. It's a little wacky because Jacko has 33 and a third % chance less of winning the match, as does Cool Guy Sky. That math figuring out okay?
I think that Steiner math is doing okay there.
And we'll see at Sacrifice. No, but anyway, we're talking about the Southern Rumble here, and yeah, they're going to get their championship business all taken care of in one match. Two number one contenders and the champion Cool Guy Sky. If he manages to retain tonight, it'll be him against Jacko and the Hooligan. That should be very, very interesting. But keep in mind,
or not against the Hooligan, it'd be against the Battlelines Cup winner from tonight, because Hooligan's injury puts him out for a while, and the company will still uphold that match, even though James Shaw trying to shoehorn his way into it. He's not going to quite get there that easy. So,
pardon me. Yes, I stand corrected. And barring James Shaw's interference in this, I wouldn't be surprised to see him somehow weasel his way into this match. That snake oil salesman, that con man that he is. But at this point, at least, we got a three-way Cool Guy Sky versus the Battlelines Cup winner and Jacko. It should be good. It should be interesting. Not the hugest fan of three-ways, but we'll see. This will make a nice semi-main event to the Southern Rumble.
Sure will, yeah. And the question becomes, right now it's Cool Guy Sky, but will it remain to be Cool Guy Sky going in that matchup? Because he's up against another former champion in the form of Azza, the leader of the Black Light District. They played a nice package before this one started, showing the rise of Azza, him getting into the Black Light District, him taking over the Black Light District, ready to call the shots, ready to get his championship belt back. Feels like he was cheated out of it in the first place, that he never truly should have lost it to Cool Guy Sky. But here we are, Azza versus Cool Guy Sky. Man, this was awesome. This, again, these guys are fantastic workers. Cool Guy Sky, again and again and again, shows up each and every time as the champion for this company, as the face for this company. There's a reason they've trusted him in this spot for so damn long, because if there's a gimmick that the fans aren't getting bored of, it's Cool Guy Sky, because not only do they like his his throwback rocker gimmick that he's got going for him, but he is fantastic as a babyface in the ring. Like, his fighting from underneath is always great. He sells like nobody else's business. Like, he really sells the idea that he's always in a little bit of trouble, but that he's got that heart, that tenacity, that fight back all the time. And at the same time, you got Azza, the dastardly heel now, and he's looking better and better, more sharp in the ring each and every time. And so this time when these two guys collided, it was that much better. These guys were back and forth through this whole thing. There was times I'm thinking, man, they might pull the trigger on Azza being the champion again. Like, I had some very strong belief that I was like, maybe that's the way it's going, to have Azza in that picture. Because again, remember, and the whole part of your Papa Smoko name originally come from the Smoko Express of Azza and Jacko. And again, that story, I know they've told it before, but they're not afraid to go back to that little storyline between Azza and Jacko as well too. So I thought, okay, makes a lot of sense. It very well could be the case, but not the case on this particular night though, Papa Smokes, because once again, remember, we talked about it last time, the masked mystery person that came in and assisted Cool Guy Sky, basically saved his bacon against Liam Fury last time, which we thought, maybe this is a Liam Fury thing. Maybe he's setting something up for a rematch of sorts. I'm not on that train anymore, Pop Smokes, because the masked man come out again, and Cool Guy Sky's looking like he's shocked by these things. But I'm starting to wonder if Cool Guy Sky might be feeling like he don't want to be the good guy no more. I wonder if Cool Guy Sky's tired of the gimmick before the fans have tired of the gimmick, and maybe Cool Guy Sky has been setting this all up himself, and maybe there's something more to this thing than meets the eye, and we'll have to see as time comes. But for the meantime, we got ourselves and still SPW heavyweight champion Cool Guy Sky in what was a very good title defense.
Very good match, and these are obviously the two top guys in SPW, the top babyface being Cool Guy Sky, and Azza has raised himself up to the top of the card by extremely heelish behavior. I like what this guy's doing a whole bunch. He's really embraced the heel role, and he plays it up hard. So when these two meet in the ring, you've got the most dastardly villain against the most fresh-faced and baby-faced or baby-faced hero in the company with Cool Guy Sky. Sky always plays by the rules, but as we saw in the little video package before the match, Cool Guy Sky trying to cut a promo in the back, and he is jumped by Azza and hit over the leg with a chair. So this is going to add a little bit of extra drama to the match. Is Cool Guy Sky's leg okay? And of course, all that high-flying offense, very much depending on a good set of legs to enact, including that 450 splash, which is usually the last thing that Cool Guy Sky's opponents see before they get pinned to the mat. So Azza came out firing in this one. Jump starts the match. This was one of those things where if the bell hasn't rung yet, you can do any kind of violent attack and not risk disqualification because the bell hasn't rung yet. So Azza's hitting Cool Guy Sky with the belt, going after that possibly injured leg, and Sky showing the babyface that he is when the referee checks on him and says, "Are you good to go in this match? Are you good to go?" Sky says, "Oh, hell yeah, ring the bell. I'm ready to go no matter what. I will fight in this match." Good babyface stuff, and the fans love that. Sky sells that leg all throughout the match. These two go outside the ring for long periods, battle out there amongst the fans. Always a treat for the fans, as we know from PPW. They like to get a good close-up view of the action and of the wrestlers. I noted here in my notes, Azza's chest chops are quite immaculately done, always getting that loud slapping sound, which is so satisfying. There were some very close 2 counts in this match. Imagine the referee was having a couple little conniption fits at how close these kickouts were. Sky hits the 450 splash, but oh yeah, and surprise, surprise, here comes the other members of the Blacklight District, Saboor and the other guy. They're going to interfere in this. They distract the referee and Cool Guy Sky. Azza hits a low blow, hits Sky with the belt. This now looks like, okay, Azza's going to go over here. There's no way Sky's taking a groin shot and a head shot from the belt and kicking out. But as you mentioned, a masked man comes out now, this time on the side of Cool Guy Sky. He interferes, hits Azza with the belt, which allows Sky to hit another 450 splash. Pinfall, and we're all left with the thought, who is the masked man and who is he working for? You suggested that it might be Cool Guy Sky, sick of the interference, sick of the factions trying to have their way with him, hitting him with chairs and stuff. Maybe he's employed a masked man. We don't know any of this, but leading up to the Rumble match and the Rumble card, we have to wonder, have we seen the last of the masked man? Is he going to have some effect on this 3-way title match at the Southern Rumble? Time will tell, I guess.
It sure will. Yeah, it's a lot of great buildup that they are doing here, leaving us with a lot of questions unanswered, and I always love that about SPW. Up next, our good buddy and former guest of Ring Respect Radio, David Dunn, gets on the microphone and asks who's ready for more wrestling. and everybody, of course, is cheering because if you're at a show like that, of course, you want to see the wrestling. You don't want the talking. You want the wrestling. But, of course, every once in a while, it's okay to get some talking, and especially when it's set up just like this, Papa Smokes. He brings out J.K. Moody, the antidote. J.K. Moody comes down to the ring and says on the microphone that his initial plan was to hang up his boots and retire after that lockdown matchup that they had at the end of last year. I'm like, oh, damn. And he sounds pretty genuine about it, too. Like, and I know from having chatted with him a couple times, especially with his shoot job, it's entirely possible that he just does not have the time to dedicate into the ring, right? Like not able to risk the getting injured and stuff like that for the sake of, being able to perform his shoot job. So I'm thinking that could have been the case. And so he says that the Blacklight District turning on him and going after him and everything gave him reason to come back. And I'm like, okay, all right, maybe he's just playing us. Maybe he's just really good at setting the scene and making us feel like he truly meant it. But then something happens, and that's when he starts cutting the promo directly at Azza. He brings the cameraman in, which I thought was a great touch, brought the cameraman up nice and close to do the promo directly, and he referred to Azza as nothing more than a J.K. Moody ripoff that is terrified, and that he was going to be finished, and then he looks in that camera and says, Azza, you're fucked, were the exact words that he said. Oh, first he said, hold on, I know there's some kids present here, so if there is, cover your ears. This is when Azza runs in, he attacks Moody. Azza starts screaming, you're washed up at Moody. He gets the best of him in this like back and forth encounter. But before he does, there's a challenge set up. J.K. Moody gets back up and challenges Azza to a loser leaves SPW forever match at the Southern Rumble. Jesus Christ, Papa Smokes, my head blew up because I was like, please don't tell me, because I like both these guys a hell of a lot, but now I'm starting to really think J.K. Moody is telling the truth about wanting to hang up the boots here, because this is perfectly set up for that opportunity. A great match against Azza that, turns out with Azza being victorious, J.K. Moody has to leave. He's still there in the background, behind the scenes, I'm sure, helping out wherever he can. But damn well that it almost feels like the setup for our goodbye for the performer inside the ring of J.K. Moody. That one was a little bit of a hard pill to swallow, but at the same time, the great thing is we're going to get a banger of match between J.K. Moody and Azza at the Southern Rumble.
For sure. And to talk about J.K. Moody for a little bit, I was glad they did this segment because I love to hear him talk. He's very good at it, very talented. But from the first SPW show that we covered, the first one that I watched, let's say roughly 2 years ago, J.K. Moody was one of the talents in this company that really stood out to me. I mean, he is a wrestler's wrestler. I talked about Canine before, a little different style, although these two have been buddies and traveled the road together and everything. But Moody really has always stood out to me as a very, very talented wrestler. He gets it so well. He uses his charisma in the ring as a heel. He was awesome. Very, very hated. The leader of the Blacklight District, who were one of the big factions in SPW back then. But I had it in my mind. It's always the thing I think of when I see someone that's very talented at either the babyface or the heel role. I like to think of what they would be like in the opposite role. And I've constantly thought of J.K. Moody is such a good heel that he would make an awesome babyface. And there are only a select few wrestlers out there in the business that can really manage both those roles and excel in both of them. And I think J.K. Moody's hitting it out of the park at this time due to his excellent talent and understanding of wrestling as an art form. This was a great babyface promo. Just the way he built it, the way he started off by saying, I was going to retire. Like I was done in my mind. I was completely done. It silenced the crowd. I mean, it silenced them completely. And he's barely into this babyface run, but you can tell that they're on his side. They're interested. They were shocked and upset that he said, You guys might have never seen me again. I was going to be done. The room was silent, man. That loud,
Mhm.
boisterous New Zealand crowd was quiet when he did that. He had them in the palm of his hand. Very, very well done. And he built that promo and he talked about his inner struggles and he talked about his love for wrestling. And this was just absolutely gold. Great, great stuff. Then, as you said, turned it around to just focus in on the object of his hatred right now is Azza, his former buddy, his former stablemate, and all that. We haven't really seen the full, brawling fallout of the dissolution of the Blacklight District, or not dissolution, I guess, but Moody's departure from this faction. We have not seen a good blow off match that like a grudge match yet between any of these members. The other two being a tag team. So Azza, obviously the candidate and the leading guy in the Blacklight District at this time, he's going to have to be the one to step up against Moody. And after that promo, despite that he got left lying by Azza after this, the firm determination of J.K. Moody was just shone through in this promo. Thought it was great. I'm right along with the fans. I'm kind of aghast at this too. I don't want him to leave. I don't want either of them to leave SPW, but I think you're on the right track that it probably will be Moody. Either he's going to retire or he's off to greener pastures, or we don't know exactly what's going on in his personal and professional life, but don't want to see either of these guys leave. But I personally, especially, don't want to see Moody leave. So I guess we're really going to have to watch this last match and really enjoy it because it might be one of the last glimpses we get of, in my opinion, one of the top talents that we've seen in New Zealand wrestling.
Yeah, 100% Papa Smokes. It's a double-edged sword either way you look at it, so it's going to be tough. But moving on from there, we got a couple more for you. One is the tag team matchup. We got, speaking of the BLD, we got Saboor and tag team partner Corey Beams taking on the team of Killswitch. And this one threw me off a little bit. I had forgotten all about what had been set up in the last show there, Pop Smokes, until they said the names Blade LennoX and Matt Attack. And I realized, oh man, okay, these are the guys who went singles action against the BLD. Only difference is they've already got themselves a tag team name. They come out looking like a goddamn tag team to the point where I was like, I thought this was two different guys for a second at first. I thought they looked great as a tag team together. And if that's the plan, man, I'm on board with it. This ended up being a very strong tag team matchup. Great work as always from BLD. Saboor and Corey Beams know each other very well, work very well as a team in the ring. But I was mostly surprised and glued to Blade LennoX and Matt Attack as a team throughout this thing because they looked great, they worked great, had a lot of good teamwork together, and then go and figure they get this tandem finisher that they call the Killswitch, which is their team name, which is a great name for a finisher as well too, and they pin the former tag team champions. They get the victory here, Papa Smokes. So I feel like there's an opportunity to cement them as a new team in the ranks of the SPW and maybe possibly a tag team title match in their future.
I would say definitely. And they made a big deal on commentary about this new tag team that was going to be Killswitch with LennoX and Matt Attack. And so now we start to see possibly a build for this team. I mean, you can't get much of a bigger win than that, than over the recent ex-champions, Blacklight District, Beams and Saboor. And yeah, I thought Matt Attack and Blade LennoX looked awesome, even after the dastardly heels pulled Blade LennoX's blade prosthetic foot off during the match. Ooh, nice little spot. Canadian legend Mad Dog Vachon getting his prosthetic leg pulled off in the match and used as a weapon. Very, very good stuff. LennoX, a good sport for taking part in a spot like that. But aside from specific spots in this match, solid tag team match. And this is SPW building, building towards the bigger shows, building up a new tag team, and giving them a significant win, which puts them in the tag team title picture. So yeah, great stuff. The Matt Attack and Blade LennoX look good. Their presentation is awesome. They've obviously been working as a tag team for some time now. They're fresh and new to the fans. So give them a couple of big wins and put them in some big matches. This is what I'm sure the SPW bookers are thinking. And as of this victory scene, and they're looking good towards getting some shots against the tag team champions.
Yeah, got to agree with you there for sure, Pop Smokes. And I know we're reaching the top of the hour already, so we're gonna go a little OT on this one because we just had so much to talk about. But hey, that's okay. We love having you stick around to find out what happened in the main event of the evening. This match scheduled for one fall.
One fall.
And it is aside the 2026 Battlelines Cup winner. It is our triple threat matchup. It is Michael Richards versus Chalky Murdoch versus K9. And we'll talk about absolute chaos, Pop Smokes. And again, here's what I like. We didn't have a whole lot of matches that went to the outside, did a lot of the outside and stuff like that. So this is where SPW very smart with their booking. They picked their spot. They knew this match is the one. It's triple threat, so there's no DQ. So if you're going to have no DQ, you might as well have the shenanigans that come along with it. Fighting into the crowd, going out into the crowd, the involvement of Nico Bell with the kendo stick, all these different elements that they can play around with work because they didn't use it throughout the rest of the night. And they didn't have any other triple threat matches. And these guys are all incredible workers. So there was a lot of good to be said. Palmer tried his best to get involved there as well, too, in this thing. So you have all those shenanigans, all those working parts. Again, it's a triple threat match. I'm not going to get as excited about it as I am singles match because, again, not my cup of tea in comparison to some of the other stuff. But these guys are good workers. I like them. I like what this set up. And it's for the cup. So when it's for the cup, it's that much more stakes on the line, that much more investment. And again, K9, every single goddamn dime, Pop Smokes. He pulls a great matchup. He is fantastic in there, but so is Michael Richards, right? Slotted into a main event spot in this thing. He's great too. Chalky Murdoch, it didn't feel out of place having him there either. So kudos to all three guys. Solid matchup. In the end, it was the big dog himself, K9, pulling it off. Your Battlelines Cup 2026 winner, and then we'll quickly go over that aftermath once get Pop Smoke's thoughts on the match to that point.
They managed to do a pretty good match here as a three-way. There wasn't they actually ran quite a few spots with all three guys, which is kind of refreshing than having one guy laying outside the ring for 5 minutes while the other two guys do spots in the ring. A whole ton of this match was done outside, as you mentioned, off in the crowd, way back by the curtain and everything. The fans getting a good close-up look at the guys. That's always fun, especially in a main event at the end of the night. The fans like to get it, not involved in the match, but right up close to it. This was clearly set up to highlight K9 as one of the top guys in the company. He has been a main eventer many times before throughout the past. He has been at the top of the card, but now he's marching up there again. And the other two did a great job in this match, but this was the K9 show. And despite the Goon's interference, I keep calling him the Goon, the hockey guy, Nico Bell, comes in with a kendo stick. He was quite effective. Man, those shots were pretty hard.
Oh, yeah.
I like the way a kendo stick does that snapping and thrashing sound, and ends up taking quite a few kendo shots himself. Richards tries to make an alliance with K9 at one point throughout the match, and K9 answers quite bluntly, "I don't need you." That was a nice touch. And that's one thing I like about SPW is they interact with the crowd, but they don't need a microphone to do it. They have pretty big crowds there, but they will project their voices in the middle of the ring, have conversations that the fans can hear. I find this kind of a refreshing touch. Nico Bell had a nice saying in the middle of this too. He says to Chalky, "I'm gonna kick your teeth in," lining up for that big kick. Palmer tried to get in there and work his business with mixed success. Palmer wants the tag and everything, but if anything provides a little bit of a distraction, K9 hitting that double underhook J Driller pile driver gets the pinfall. So, like it kind of appeared throughout this match, this was set up to elevate K9 to the top echelon of the card. So now he's in a position to go after Cool Guy Sky in the SPW New Zealand Championship. Ooh, man, I couldn't be more excited. And the fans echoed my sentiments quite clearly, cheering very, very loudly for K9. So he's got a big shot and he can make his way back to that championship scene and maybe get that belt around his waist again.
Well, and here's the interesting situation because K9 has the Battlelines Cup. Out comes Jacko with the Fight for Gold briefcase, and out comes Cool Guy Sky with the championship. You've got your three biggest right now baby faces in the company standing in the ring, staring one another down, all because they want what Cool Guy Sky has. And the interesting element, you've got three baby faces working this thing, and you know that something's got to give. That's the crazy part here. Something's got to give. If one of these guys, it doesn't snap and turn in this matchup or snap and turn as a result of this matchup or tries to pull some shenanigans, I would be very, very surprised. I'd be shocked if we got a very clean triple threat babyface matchup for the belt at the Southern Rumble with absolutely no shenanigans involved. But an interesting stare down nonetheless, and shows the importance of the SPW Championship to all three of these individuals. They're ready to fight it out, and what a big match that's been set for the Southern Rumble when you take three of your biggest stars and put them into that match for the belt. Looking forward to it. Once again, SPW delivers not only on the Battlelines Cup, but in building towards the Southern Rumble as well, too. Chef's kiss. Well done, SPW.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And one thing I've noticed since we've been watching SPW, they don't have a mediocre show ever really. Like all their shows are top quality. They always put that 100% effort and dedication into the booking, the setting up of the matches, the booking of the talent, the venue, the production, everything. These guys are good, man. They're such pros, and all of their shows that I've ever seen, which is quite a good handful now, there hasn't been a mediocre or a poor one whatsoever yet. So cheers to the SPW guys. You always put on a good show. You always make an interesting product, especially that we get to watch this for free on YouTube. Couldn't ask for anything more. And as usual, after watching this show, I'm excited to see what happens. I can't wait for the Southern Rumble, one of their big shows of the year. I'm on pins and needles. We've got a whole bunch of stuff set up for it already, and I can't wait to watch. One other note I can make at the end of this, Munson, is here's another book of notes for Papa Smokes. Finished. Another one done. I'm not sure if that's number
Nice.
7 or number 8 of the extra thick scribblers there. So we got a lot of notes in the can already here. Got another new book to start. So back at it next week. We got a new book and a new topic for next week. Can't wait to get going on that too.
You bet. And in fact, I'm going to allow you to talk all about what we got coming up next week. But before I allow that, Pop Smokes, I just got to say, OLE's been making record profits at the moment, but unfortunately, we're going to have to ask you to take a 50% pay cut. So unfortunately, your ticker is only worth half of what it used to be, Papa Smokes. But if you could tell the people what's coming up next week on Ring Respect Radio and where they can reach out to you.
That's a good one, Munson. My salary goes down. I'm hitting the indies hard. You're on your own, Munson, if my salary gets cut. But at any rate, I've got that costly ticker, and let's make some good use of it. I'm here every week on Thursday nights on Ring Respect Radio, hosted by OLE Podcasts and the Video Bros Network. Other than that, I can be found on Elon Musk's free speech wonderland known as X. I am at Smokes_Papa. and on Twitch, allegedly at least, at Papa_Smokes_.
Yes, and thank you, Mangler, for being here on a Thursday and chatting along with us. As always, always appreciate you, my friend. As for myself, Bobby Munson, you know the drill. Ticker down below is going to take you to all my social media. If you want to catch me here on the channel, you're going to be able to find me this Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, along with Andre, talking about the week in sports over on Point of View. If you want to catch myself and Papa Smokes in another capacity, you could join us over at Prairie Pro Wrestling's YouTube channel every Saturday afternoon with a new match coming from the vault. We got another one coming out this Saturday for you folks. This Saturday, I believe. I'm thinking, yeah, it's Morris Waltz is in action this Saturday, and I believe it's against Cannonball Kelly, if I'm not mistaken, Papa Smoke. So stay tuned for that one. It's going to be very exciting. Make sure that you're following along to the BPW YouTube channel and checking that all out. As for where you can find other great shows, well, they're all right here on OLE Podcast. We all had a lot of great things from a lot of great creators here on the channel, just like Marvel Talk before us, and just like a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out throughout the week as well, too. And hey, if you want to support us, you can do that. We are a Twitch partner. We're also a YouTube partner, so you can give us super chats, super stickers. On the Twitch side, you can give us subs. Subs will also help us get a little bit more of that revenue and be able to keep some of these programs going so we can keep these great shows going. But you know what else you can do? If you got one of these, it's called a mobile phone. You heard of it? I'm sure you have. Anyway, you got one of these, and I'm sure you've got one of those free Gmail accounts, so you've definitely got a YouTube account. So we want you to head on over to YouTube. If this is about 24 hours after this stream has ended, you're going to slide on over to a thing called Hype Points on your phone, and you're going to want to put some Hype Points on this show. You get up to 3 of those per week that you can give to your favorite content creators of any kind, and we want you to share all that love across OLE, especially here on Ring Respect Radio, where Pop Smokes and I now have had 2 of our shows reach that top 100 on the Canada 100 charts. So let's do it again, folks. We want to go even higher. Bring in those Hype Points, share the love, sub to the channel, do all those wonderful things. And if you're watching on replay, leave us a comment in the comment section below. What indie company would you like to see Pop Smokes and I tackle next? And I think we forgot to mention it. Next week, stay tuned for another trip through the territories. We're bringing that to you next Thursday night, so you're not going to want to miss it. Anyway, we have been 7 minutes in overtime. We appreciate each and every one of you. Have a great Thursday, and we'll see you next week. Take care.